Preseason or not, it's always good to get a W against the Celtics, especially after what they did to us last year, which ultimately led us to this brand new Sixers team. What is going on, everybody? I go by Philly Mike, and this is the Philly Talk Podcast. If you are new to the channel and love talking Philly sports every single day, we'll go right ahead and hit that subscribe button. And make sure you turn on post notifications so you know when I go live for play-by-plays, live call-ins, or drop some content. Hit that notification bell. On that note, if you like what you saw from the first preseason game from the Sixers, go ahead and smash that like button for your boy. On that note, let's jump into this quick recap and just some of my takes on the first game preseason for the 76ers. So we all know that the Sixers won 108-99, and again, it's just a preseason victory, so you can't build your head up too much about it. But I just want to discuss some of the things I saw, some of the things that we expected, and some of the things that shocked me in this game. So let's start with the starting lineup. We kind of knew going into the season it would be Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, Danny Green, Tobias Harris, and Joel Embiid. Now, Ben Simmons brings the ball up sometimes he's in the dunker spot, he's posting up, so you're going to see a lot of positionless basketball. Seth Curry might bring it up, Tobias Harris might bring it up, Ben Simmons might bring it up. You're going to see a mixed match of ball handlers, but when in doubt and transition, you got to get the ball in Ben Simmons' hands. He's just magical in that situation. Like I said, that's kind of what we thought the starting five would be, getting veteran presence on the court with a guy like Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. Danny Green, I think he's going to be low-key great on the defensive side of the ball, and he's going to make some threes. That's what we needed. Curry, Green, three-point shooting. We didn't see much of it in this game. I think Green made one and Curry made one as well. Not too much, but again, brand new coaching staff, a bunch of new players, new system, and a very short offseason. And yet to remind you, it's just a preseason game. But the one thing I took from the starting lineup in the first quarter was the defense intensity. Danny Green getting his hand on balls, Tobias Harris, Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, all wreaking havoc, getting the ball and getting easy buckets in transition. So the defense intensity is still there. I think it looks better than it did last year. But again, this is a very small sample size, but I think you're only going to get better as you guys grow, gel, start to learn each other's tendencies and all that good stuff. So we will talk about Shake Milton coming off the bench and his role for this offense because he deserves a big part of this video. But let's talk about the rotation off the bench. So the first substitution, we saw Green, Curry, and Embiid go out. Now, this is subject to change too, depending on foul trouble, tiredness, all that stuff. But one of the biggest gripes about Brett Brown and the analytic group was that why do we take Joel Embiid out at this point of time every single game this early, blah, blah, blah. And maybe it will change, maybe it won't. But you saw the second unit really be Ben Simmons, Furkan Korkmaz, Shake Milton, Tobias Harris, and Dwight Howard. So Tobias Harris and Ben Simmons, guys who are normally playing a lot of minutes for the Sixers, get some rotation with the second unit before the full second unit comes in. And I like what I saw from that group. You get to see Ben Simmons really fluctuate down low in the post when you don't got no Joel Embiid, which still kind of opens his game up. I still want to see Ben Simmons more aggressive. He only took 5 shots. We got to see that aggressive Ben Simmons, which does work in the regular season and or the playoffs. However, you saw some of the same things that Ben Simmons did last year, not willing to shoot. Now, this is a long season-long problem we got to fix. We knew it wasn't going to be fixed game one, preseason one. Just because he pulled a 3 against that China team last year doesn't mean nothing. I think he's going to get his confidence up to shoot the baby runner. Maybe he should work with Maxey on that floater, which we'll talk about later. But you just got to see some type of pull-up because multiple times he pulls up at the elbow. I'm not going to shoot it. Panics and dishes it out. He just was forcing things in this game. Kind of the same Ben Simmons, but again, the defensive side, his ability to pass, his ability to do a lot of different things in the game is always going to keep him as an all-star candidate. However, let's get into Shake Milton's performance. I really like what I saw off the bench, and I do believe if he can continue this, again, 1 game sample size, but we did see the potential last year. If he can continue this, he's going to be a candidate for 6th Man of the Year, which we saw Lou Will win it under Doc Rivers. We saw Trez Harold win it under Doc Rivers. And the one thing about a 1 game sample size is like, it might not happen again. But when you got Doc Rivers raving about Shake Milton putting on the weight, getting his game up, instant offense, using him as a 6th man, and then in the first game of the preseason, you see him go out and perform with 19 points off the bench, you start to say, maybe it's not a mistake. Maybe it's not luck, because Doc Rivers pretty much said all offseason, which was a short one, this is what you're going to see, and he came out and showed it. Now, like I was saying last year, you saw the potential, but he lacked the confidence, lacked the aggressiveness, and quite frankly, coming in for Ben Simmons in that starting role, he just couldn't get it done with Tobias trying to get his, especially under Brett Brown, all that ISO ball for Tobias, Joel Embiid hogging the ball. And don't forget, when Josh Richardson played, he took up a large portion when it comes to usage rate, shooting. Wasn't really good, but he did a lot of it. Shake showed in his first game off the bench, in that role where he'll play with some starters, some second unit fully, he showed what he can do. I mean, he elevated his game when it comes to catching and shoot. We saw that last year, but we didn't see it with this amount of confidence. And again, it's only 1 game, but you saw him do other things like go coast to coast as the initial ball handler to get a bucket, fading away off a Dwight Howard screen to the right, just cashing it, going to the hole by himself, drawing a defense in, throwing lobs at Dwight Howard. And lastly, just being able to get a bucket when the Sixers need by just isoing with the step back. These are all things that he added to his game, because before he used to be a catch and shoot guy only, really. I mean, he would kind of do it, but he was lost in the offense last year. And in this first game, it looks like he's trying to show he's much more than a catch and shoot guy, especially when it comes to the second unit. And also, the pick and roll combination between him and Dwight will look good together. Now, to go back to one of the starters that I didn't talk about too much, Joel Embiid. There was one play that I remember. Shooters all over the court. Tobias, Furkan, Danny Green, Seth Curry, and Joel Embiid. So, Furkan gives the ball to Joel Embiid in the post. Now, he backs up Williams. The double team comes extremely late because of the shooters. Boom, too easy. Now, last year, as soon as somebody gave that ball to Joel Embiid in the post, and you had Ben Simmons, you had Tobias Harris, you had Al Horford, you had Jay Rich. Even if Ben Simmons wasn't on the court, still Jay Rich, Al Horford, and even Tobias wasn't shooting threes well last year because of all the situations we were in. Too much ISO ball from Tobias. But nobody was afraid of that, so the double team, even the triple team, would immediately go to Joel Embiid. And you got the big guy D'ing him up on the double team. You got a guard coming to swipe. Joel Embiid puts the ball on the floor, turnover or something. And when he did pass out of it, it was normally a brick. How many games did we finish with a 22% three-point shooting, 25, 23, 28, 27, a bunch of 27% three-point shooting performances, and that's not going to get it done. They're going to be able to send the house at Joel Embiid, and they still will. Let Joel Embiid get hot. Bucket, bucket, bucket. They will say, you know what, we got to sacrifice it, send a double team, but then if he does pass it out, we don't shoot 20%. Maybe we're shooting 35%, 36%, 33%. Well, then these open shots are going to be knocked down from these guys on the perimeter. Now, these guys are human. It's a long season. We're going to have some bad shooting performances. It just happens to the best of the best shooters. But it's going to be more unlikely that Joel Embiid gets double teamed, kick it out for a bucket. If he doesn't, well, you're too little, or Joel Embiid is going to pull up with a little mid-range, and it's going to be a pick-your-poison type offense. Simple as that. But before I get to Maxey, I'm going to treat it like the fourth quarter because that's all the Sixers really let him play. I want to talk about Matisse Thybulle and the fact that he did get a little bit of minutes and he just looked off. I mean, Matisse Thybulle was always great on the defensive side of the ball, but he was shooting pretty darn good at the three-point line prior to that injury. So 3-and-D guy for real. Got high hopes on him. He gets injured. His three-point percentage goes down, down, down. And you would thought that you would have seen more intensity from the guy. His defense was and I think he was just forcing too much on the offensive side of the ball. Try to go back-to-back oops to Dwight Howard. Got the ball stolen. Was just forcing things. And again, as happy as I am about Shake doing good, Matisse doing bad, it's too early to judge. But I just thought I would have saw more from him. But let's get to the fourth quarter of this podcast where Maxey came into the game. Shout out to everybody who was in the play-by-play with me. I was like, how many points is Maxey going to score this game? Some people said 10, 4, 8. And the people who said 8 were right. I mean, I like what I saw. Kentucky guard, I mean, they come in ready. They're well coached in Kentucky and they come in ready to play. But he was just controlling the offense. I know it was the fourth quarter. They had their, young players in like Neesmith and Pritchard and all that. But at the end of the day, he was able to run the offense, find the open guy, found Mike Scott on a three-pointer, inbounds the ball to Bradley on a key dunk. But I like what he was able to do off the pick and roll, attacking the basket. Beautiful Euro step to finish. And let's talk about them 3 floaters. I mean, other than the Euro step, he didn't pull no jump shots. He didn't take it to the hole no more. It was nothing but coming off the pick and roll with authority and letting it be a floater, letting it be a runner, letting it be a floater. He was 3 of 4 for floaters. Overall shot 4 or 5 for 8 points. But I like what I saw. He has a lot of grit to him. And that floater could be a deadly shot. We saw Rondo do it. We saw CP3 do it. Derrick Rose was doing it for a little bit because you come in with all this authority. Defenders go up to block it. And then you just get it over the tip of their hand. It's a demoralizing play. I think Ben Simmons needs to learn that. Even though I love when Ben Simmons comes in and just yams it on everybody. But when I look at this team, I liked what I saw from Maxey. I really love what I saw from Shake. And when the starters were together in the first quarter, they played with some defensive intensity, got easy buckets in transition, and Joel Embiid is still that dominant force. And I just love the space. Big difference from last year with the space. And we're only going to go up from here. So that's my takeaways from this first preseason game. Shout out to everybody that came through the play-by-play. We're going to be doing these more. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and stay tuned to the Philly Talk podcast. Hey, we got a game Friday. I'll see you then. Until next time, you know what time it is. We out.